Hey, AfterBuzzers. Kevin Undergaro, the executive producer of AfterBuzz, along with Maria Menounos.
Hi, everybody.
And Maria and I, as you know, have put so much time and money into the AfterBuzz TV product and really haven't seen a lot in return.
Nope, not yet.
But one of the ways you guys can actually help us is by tuning into our new reality show, Chasing Maria Menounos. It premieres Tuesday, March 18th, 10 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central, and features me and Maria basically bickering, fighting.
No, it's not just bickering and fighting. You get an inside look into my life, behind the scenes.
You'll also get a behind-the-scenes look at AfterBuzz and an inside look at how Maria does everything in her power to shut us down because she's very cheap.
That is so rude. Why would you say that?
Because it's true.
Oh, my God.
Well, anyway, guys, please tune in to Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen, Tuesday, March 18th at 10 p.m. We really do appreciate it. All of your support will help AfterBuzz because Maria certainly won't.
So rude.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web and your number one source for after-show entertainment. From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Lost Girl After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Lost Girl After Show.
Hey there, Lost Girl fans. You docu-buses, wolf-you-buses, and now potentially rain-you-buses?
Yeah.
Who knows? I have no idea where the fandom is going to fall. What a huge episode. This is obviously the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Lost Girl. That's why you're hearing the theme song, that crunchy groove we got. I'm Matt Lieberman. We're talking about Season 4, Episode 9. Yael Tygiel's here.
Hello.
Marissa Serafini in the booth.
What's up?
Yeah. So, what a great episode. Like, we've been begging, pleading. I know I have. I know you have. All season long, we want answers. We want movement on this plot line. I'm tired of Bo having missing memories. Let's just get on with it. Who is the Wanderer? Who is the Wanderer? Who's the Wanderer? And in this episode, not only do we find out, we move the plot in a direction that I could not have anticipated. How do you feel?
I had to watch this episode twice. The first time I watched it, I was like, what a boring story, like the crows. And then she's in Hades for a bit. And then she's out of Hades. And then all of a sudden, Rainer's there. And I was like, wait, I definitely missed something. So I rewatched it. And if you ignore most of the, this week's plot,
right,
it's just answers.
Yeah.
It's answers followed by more answers, a question, and then more answers.
Right.
I loved it.
Yeah.
The second time.
Well, that's the thing. It is light on. It's light on plot in terms of
story of the week.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's basically, you're right. It's one big information dump that sets up our last run of episodes. We only have 4 episodes left this season.
Yeah.
But we're now kicked into high gear for a conflict that we could not have possibly anticipated.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been thinking, great, they're going to hold the Wanderer until the last episode or the second last episode. We're going to have a big fight and then it's all over, blah, blah, blah. But no, Lost Girl surprised me this week. And it takes a lot to get me excited about. I just feel like the show, it knows its rhythm so well that when it breaks it, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I could not have said this better myself. That is exactly what they did. They've been stringing us along. Eventually we'll get answers. Eventually we'll get there.
Right, and it's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
But it's more fun when, the plot is active. And I feel like now that we have Rainer in the mix and we have Trick regaining his lost memories, and we have, what happened with the blood. I feel like we've got a lot of plot to play with for these last 4 episodes leading into the next season.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the last 4 episodes. I think we're just going to get more and more and more, and then get an even bigger cliffhanger, which is worth it, as opposed to we've been waiting and building, and then the cliffhanger is something that we needed earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump in because we need plenty of time for debate
Yes.
about what's going to happen. So let's just power through. All right, so Bo has made a decision. She is going to open this jar of smoke, and she is going to go after the Wanderer. She's taking the fight to him. She's sick of this, and the table's pretty divided. Dyson actually understands. He gets it, and he supports her. Kensi and Lauren, not necessarily on the same page, and Trick, very much against it.
Right, and he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
He just knows that he's against it.
Right. And we'll get into this later. Kensi brings up a good point, to Trick. Why haven't you been helping all season?
Yeah.
Where have you been? Where's the old Trick? And it's a question that I've been asking internally but had yet to voice. Why has he been so squirrely?
Yeah.
And we learn why. She opens this jar, and the smoke comes out, and it turns into our first sexy crow. Hugin. Weird names this week.
Yeah.
Yet another type of fae. Hugin worked for the Wanderer. He tricks Bo into thinking that, he's got this marriage spat with his brother and the cheating, blah, blah, blah. But, he's taking Bo alone to this other realm where they can find the Wanderer. No one else can come with.
Yeah.
Everyone's pissed. She goes with him anyway because she's Bo, and that's what she does. She gets there. Big ol' ambush. Turns out Hugin and his wife and his brother are teamed up with all these other crows.
His brother Munin.
Hugin and Munin, the dumb, sexy crow brothers.
Yeah.
Or I guess really only Hugin's sexy.
Really? We're saying either
I'm
of them
going to
is
say, listen, just based on pure looks, Hugin is attractive, and, I judge Kensi's taste a little bit, or I trust it to a degree.
Right, so she thinks he's sexy.
She thinks she's sexy. Therefore, if the show says that he's sexy, we're supposed to think that he's sexy, and then he just is.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
As a person, no. Physically, yeah. You could make a statue of him. That'd sell.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So, turns out these crows are all pissed at the Wanderer, and they want to slit Bo's throat, as they said, F-R-O-A-T.
Yeah.
Yes. Slit her throat.
Because they're Cockney.
Because they're Cockney. All crows are Cockney,
Yeah.
apparently, in this universe. Which, we need more accents on the show.
Yeah.
That makes kind of sense, maybe.
I like it.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
If he's going to be named Hugin.
Hugin
He's gonna be Cockney.
He's going to be pretty Cockney.
Yeah.
So, Bo, instead, I don't know, did you catch, since you watched it twice, did you catch how she knew that falling into the open grave would send her to hell?
Yeah. When they arrived at the graveyard, when she arrived with Hugin,
Yeah.
Hugin says, oh, by the way, don't step on the actual graves. And she's like, why? Just because it's disrespectful? And he's like, no, if you step on it, you will go straight to hell or Hades or whatever you call it. Or something like that.
Yeah. But here's the thing about this episode, because I like it a lot just because of the sheer amount of plot movement we get. But this plot should be like a marquee episode. Bo goes to hell. This should be like an action-packed thrill ride, stuck in hell, having to fight her way out to get, back to these crows. And instead, we get this, this riddle game with Leviathan, which, while still fun, I mean, it's only fun because of the riddle that Bo tells.
Right.
Which we'll get into, but I'm just like, Bo Goes to Hell should be the episode. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the whole idea that there's a death train and there's, these different planes of existence, her going through a grave to hell could have been its own two-parter or something amazing.
Yeah.
But instead we got, I feel like it wasn't hell, it was like the foyer to hell. There's this little old lady who's there to welcome you.
Right. It's almost like it's legit to me, just because it's a riddle game. It's like they're in the mountains. It's like The Hobbit, where Bilbo gets separated and he winds up in the cavern with Gollum instead of with the goblins.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we got. She fell into the goblin cave. She fell into the Gollum cave, and then Gollum came out, and Gollum was a woman instead of a Gollum.
Yep.
Yeah. And she gets into this riddle game. Which did Leviathan give her the clue, fog? Did she make the fog happen? The fog happened at perfect time.
I don't know.
In a cave. What atmospheric pressure is making this fog?
I'm used to when there's a riddle game, like the scene with Gollum in the movies.
Right.
He gets to ask two, like it goes back and forth a little bit. It was one riddle, and then, well, I don't know riddles, so I'm going to stump you with a life question.
Right, with just like love advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't build at all. It didn't go anywhere.
No.
Because there wasn't time.
But also, the Leviathan talks about the mark that Bo has on her.
Yeah.
And that was so much more interesting.
Right. She wanted the mark for herself.
She's been looking for it for 600 years. Why? What is it? Who are you? Like I would have loved more of that.
Yeah. We were like on the very edge of getting some very interesting answers. Mythology stuff.
Yeah.
Which like, that's what we nerds crave. We love mythology. And Lost Girl, as much as we love it, almost like very frustratingly, is very anti-mythology. And this season, we've gotten more mythology than we've ever gotten before, but it's still not a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like, here's what you need to know about the mythology. Yeah, you have questions. We're not going to answer them.
Yeah, we're busy.
Yeah.
We're busy doing the romantic triangle, whatever.
Yeah.
Big old dance. But I liked Bo bringing up her relationship troubles to the Leviathan and how she used it to get out of a jam. I thought that was clever. And also because I like seeing her wrestle with this question.
Oh, yeah.
Because, she's been stringing these two along forever. Forever. For 4 years. And she's got to make a decision sooner or later, but it's an impossible decision. And I loved hearing her say, I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I love them both. How could I possibly choose?
It's really interesting that earlier on, when Bo leaves with Hugin and Dyson and Lauren are packing up their weapons to go save her or help, Dyson says to Lauren, like, I understand why she can't choose. And Lauren says, well, I would know who to choose. Like, that's easy.
Yeah.
But it was nice that Dyson can see, like, I see why it's so difficult for her.
Yeah.
You're a great woman, Lauren.
Yeah. I loved that moment. And it gets back into my theory from last week, which is, or my hope for the series, that we're going to end the show
with a threesome,
with the three of them together in a polyamorous relationship. That makes sense for this show. It makes sense for me. There's a poetry to it, and I think it would be like the first polyamorous relationship to be taken seriously on a television show. I can't be sure about that. At the very least, in science fiction, it would be, especially if the three of them got together before the series finale.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I think, honestly, the only reason that won't, so far, the only reason I could see that not actually happening is because we have yet to see Lauren with a man.
True.
She is the only character who, I guess, well, not the only, but one of the few characters where it's clearly defined.
Where she is probably, if not definitely, just a lesbian.
Right.
Right. That she has no interest in men. I don't know. When that guy at the end of season 3 was trying to get her to come work for her, he was flirting with her a bit.
Taft.
Yeah, Taft. He was flirting with her a bit. And I was wondering if I could see there some notes of flirting back. I feel like she, at the very least, she appreciated his attention because it was very much about her brain and her accomplishments. He treated her like a colleague.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why she was so warm to his advances as they were. But you're right. We haven't seen her interact with a man or even really express any interest. And I think she has maybe too much pride.
Yeah.
She has more pride than Dyson, which is like hilarious considering that Dyson is like a wolf and like 1,000-year-old warrior.
Right.
You know.
And he's like an alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet he's willing to concede that Lauren is an incredible woman and would be an amazing partner for someone, you know, and that it is a real choice. I love that he's acknowledging it. It's funny. I love how much Dyson has matured.
Yeah.
Over the course of this series. And I feel like this scene really hammers it home that his experiences with Bo, losing his love for her, getting it back and learning to accept the fact that, you know, he couldn't have her, and then potentially being able to have her again being a better man, I think has really significantly changed the arc of who he is and who he'll be for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You know, a Fae life could be thousands of years long, and we've seen some real change in him in such a short time. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. I'm so happy. You know, this show, they don't like to change the rhythm, as we've said before.
Yeah.
And having him mature is changing the rhythm. And I have to applaud them 4 years in for really taking the time and tinkering with the formula of the show, knowing that it can't run forever and that we need the show to evolve to bring us to a very satisfying finale. It shows a level of maturity on the writing staff, on the whole production team. And I just, as a fan, I just hope if they're listening, they hear how much we appreciate it.
Yeah. And we've said that this season is definitely the best season yet. And we're only 9 episodes in.
I know, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, we got way more to discuss, but first we're going to talk iTunes. We're going to talk a bunch of stuff. Don't skip ahead, you big dummies. You don't want to do that. First of all, I just want to tell you about, you heard about it before the show, but I'm just going to remind you, Chasing Maria Menounos. If you're in the U.S., it's airing on Oxygen. It premieres on March 18th, Tuesday, March 18th at 10 p.m., 10/9 Central. It's going to be airing. I don't know how many episodes they did, but I've seen it. It's a great show. If you like reality TV, you're going to love looking at Maria's life. You're going to see some insight into AfterBuzz, and also supporting this show can only make AfterBuzz better because it's going to give us more attention on a national scale on television. It's going to bring way more awareness to our little network. And we need that to survive. So you can do that. Another way to support the network, obviously, go to iTunes, rate and review. We've been on the air for a while, and we're still in the top 10, which is great. But we still only have, I think, 8 ratings. Yeah.
So I have a challenge for our fans.
Tell them about the challenge. I'm excited about this.
I know.
Yeah.
So here's what I want. I want 10 reviews. 10 reviews on iTunes. By the season finale, which is in 4 episodes.
In 4 weeks, in about a month. So make it 3 weeks because we're trying to get this for the season finale.
So if we can get 10 reviews on iTunes, I'm going to spend day and night, every moment that I have, trying to get someone from the cast, hopefully Ksenia Solo, on the podcast with us for the season finale. I think that would be wonderful.
It would be huge. Now, when you say 10 reviews, we're talking about written out reviews, not just ratings. Because we have 8 ratings, 4 reviews. So we need 6 more written reviews to start this chain in action. And I know you've already taken some steps towards this.
I have.
It's not, it is not impossible. It's not out of the question that we could get her on this show.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can. So,
me too.
Fans, join the cause, support the show, and we're going to get you a wonderful interview with a wonderful cast member who we all have a crush on.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. Okay. So, Bo fools the Leviathan.
Can I read her riddle?
Yeah, read the riddle. It's actually very well written.
She is brilliant, he is strong. Her life is little, his life is long. Both loves are pure, both loves are true. If you were I, who would you choose? That last line didn't rhyme, but we're going to forgive them.
Yeah, we'll forgive it. Forgiven. We allow it. And the Leviathan can't decide, and she chooses Lauren, I believe. She chooses Dyson, and then she chooses Lauren.
And then she doesn't know.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Bo doesn't know either. Leviathan's all pissy, but sends her back up top by the graves. As the crows are all debating what to do with the Wanderer's stuff, all of his riches, when his train crashes. Which I like that we open on the Wanderer trying to repair the train.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like opening with, something a bit more enigmatic, not a member of our cast,
And I think what was really interesting is we're seeing him try to fix his train, and by his feet is the crown that you have been waiting for.
All the time.
And I think what was really interesting is when Bo was down with the Leviathan, she's calling the Leviathan Levi, and the Leviathan calls her princess. And she says, "Don't call me that. I don't like it when you call me that." And I was like, princess, crown, oh my goodness, this is going to be something amazing.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, Trick's a blood king.
Right.
He's a blood king, so she is of royal lineage.
Yes.
She is a princess. Raynor apparently is trying to marry into this blood king line, and really piss Trick off for banishing him from all of time and space.
Yeah.
I mean, all of existence, time and space. What is this, Doctor Who? Ha ha. So she comes up and she starts pushing crows into the graves.
That fight scene of her fighting these crows and they fall into the graves even though they warned her about it.
I mean, put fighting in quotes.
Yeah. Fighting.
Right.
She ducks and 2 jump and then another one jumps.
Yeah.
And she's done.
She dodges a bunch of crows until there's only 3 left. And then Dyson and Lauren are able to get to this other plane.
Yeah, wherever they are.
Just by, I guess, walking there. Maybe they took a car. Who knows?
Yeah.
Lauren, I love Lauren holding double syringes filled with Fey STDs.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This show, I can't even.
It was
okay.
great.
Yeah, it was great. And they basically blackmail the crows into getting Bo onto the train. Bo gets to the train. She has a knife in hand. Are you the Wanderer? Who are you? And he takes off his welding mask and he turns around and he's handsome.
He is gorgeous.
And we're like, what? And she's like, oh, okay. And then she remembers.
They touch each other.
They touch each other. The mark that he left on her. And I'm almost like, is his power also like succubus power? Because she starts smiling when he touches her.
I think it was just the memories flooding back.
Right. So yeah, she brings him back into existence. And that was the whole plan. The whole time was she decided to go dark because it would compel her to go back onto the train and save him before the train broke. And it mostly makes sense.
I think it's a great plan.
Okay.
I think it was great because she knew for some reason she'd lose her memory.
Yeah.
And she knew that the one thing that would get her to seek the answers would be that someone would sign her up to be dark.
Right.
Because I feel like if someone signed her up to be light, she wouldn't fight as much. She'd
Right.
be like, well, we all saw that coming.
Yeah, but how did she know that her memories were going to get wiped?
I don't know. Hopefully we will find out.
Yeah. Well, we had someone else who had his memories wiped, and he did it himself,
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Right. So what I'm wondering is, did Trick somehow wipe Bo's memories of being on the train, like wipe all their memories, and then wiped his own to forget it?
No.
No.
I think Trick's memories were wiped long ago.
I mean, those memories, but he might have wiped more. All right.
I think so. Here's my theory.
Okay.
Is it might be that when he way in the past banished Raynor to this train,
Right.
out of existence,
Yeah.
he made it so that anyone were to interact with him or the train, as soon as they were off of that, because he no longer exists, the memories would not exist. That's my theory.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thanks.
That makes a lot of sense. He doesn't exist. How else would she be able to find him?
Right.
Right. Okay. So he goes to Ming.
Yes.
Yes.
Who is sister of Wei Lin, who we saw in the end of the second season, which is so exciting because I was like, oh, this was such a fun power and fun Fae. I'm glad we got to see that Fae back, even though we didn't get to see the same girl.
Right. And I'm wondering, were they not able to book that actress?
Probably.
Yeah. So instead, we kind of get an expansion of that little story. And this woman. She's pissed that Trick chose her sister instead of her.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love that. And I love that she abuses her power to find out why.
Yeah. I love that Trick was kind of, because he's so old, he's been around for so long, he's dated a lot.
Yeah.
He was like a playboy.
He's been around.
Yeah.
When you're Blood King, Blood King like what Blood King see, Blood King gonna take. You got to give Blood King a taste. If you don't, I'll just write it in blood and you'll do it anyway. Which, creepy. I hope he didn't do that a lot.
No.
No, that's
probably
bad.
not.
That's blood rape. That's not good.
That's not Trick's style.
That's not Trick's style. But the more we learn about him, the more that we learn that his style is kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
Who he was before he became Trick, back when he was Fitzpatrick McCorrigan, the Blood King, he was an evil dude.
Yeah.
and he's atoning for it, but that's why he blocked out all these memories. He was so afraid of what he did and so ashamed that he thought he would have a better shot at being a good person if he couldn't remember all the terrible things that he did and what he's capable of.
Yeah.
And seeing these memories pour forth and like that evil laugh almost as he's like, do you know who I am? I am the Blood King, which makes me giggle because he's tiny. And I feel really bad about that.
His eyes, he
burning eyes.
He had creepy, like, I am creepy man. Eyes.
I know. Well, like he banished Raynor because Raynor defied him.
Yeah, what was his name? It was
Raynor the Defiant.
Raynor the Defiant. Yes.
Yeah, he defied him. He's the defiant one.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, Defiance on Sci-Fi coming back this summer.
Smooth.
Yes, thank you. And no one crosses the Blood King, and he's gonna go over the top with his vengeance. He's not gonna let him go to Valhalla. He tells Tamsin that she can't take his soul because he's going to erase it from existence forever using the blood. And she lets him do it because he offers to extend her existence by a few more lives.
So that she can cleanse her soul.
Yes, which, I mean, has she?
No, I think she definitely
Yeah,
didn't.
she kind of wasted all these lives.
So here's my assumption on that one.
Right.
Is that when she was reborn, she obviously forgot that she had made this deal.
Right, and that she was the reason the Wanderer existed.
Right.
Or part of it.
And so she, just came back to life as a Valkyrie and went back to doing what Valkyries do. Mm-hmm. And that's my theory.
Okay, I like that theory.
And that's why she's still, until this life.
Right.
She's been kind of
a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the word I was going to use.
Right, but my point is, she winds up working for the Wanderer.
Right.
Trying to find Bo all these years. So, Raynor, I assume, had no idea that she was the same Valkyrie who was supposed to take her to Valhalla.
Well, so I guess not, but maybe...
Maybe he did, and that's why he charged her with that task?
Well, maybe Raynor isn't the one who actually hired her, because she always thought that the Wanderer was Bo's father. Maybe Bo's father is the one who hired her to find Bo.
Interesting.
And it's not the same person as the Wanderer.
That's interesting, because she never explicitly said that it was the Wanderer. She said...
Evil.
She said pure evil. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe we still will meet Bo's father this season.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our season finale reveal. I don't know. Another thing that we forgot to mention with the Leviathan, she makes a prophecy.
Oh, that's right.
A very disturbing prophecy.
She says, I will see you again soon enough. Someone you love very much will soon be dead.
Crap.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk in predictions about who we think that is. And we're going to debate a bit.
Yes.
All right, so we've got Trick's lost memories. He gets them back. And he's trying to rally the troops to find Bo, just in time for Bo to arrive with his sworn enemy, Raynor, who seems totally nice. Right? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I assume he'll be bad, whatever. Fine. He's dark. That usually is how it works out. But he seems totally nice. Why is he so defiant? I mean, granted, Trick was completely corrupt back when he did try to defy him. So he might have been a good guy at the time, maybe warped by being banished for 1,000 years.
Well, I mean, it's possible. It's possible that he was dark because he was dark and not necessarily that he was bad.
Yeah.
For example, Tamsin now is good but is
dark. So complicated.
I know. Life is so hard. But my theory is, I'm full of theories today.
I love theories.
That Raynor was banished, because, as you said, Trick was the Blood King and he was very corrupt, and Raynor defied him, rallied the troops and fought against him, and that's why Trick sent him away, was so that he could never rise up against him again.
Right.
So I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be interesting, and I love that we assume that he seems good at first just because he's attractive.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the human brain works.
Is it?
Yes.
I assume attractive people are always evil.
No. We like what we see. We like it.
I see.
And we want them to be good because on some level, we want them to be good partners for the marriage and the children.
Okay.
Yes. Or not the marriage, mostly the children. Biological imperative. It's how we're wired. Okay. The last remaining thing that we really need to talk about before we get into prediction-y stuff is Kensi and Tamsin's big adventure.
Yes.
They decide how we need to help Bo. We can't go help her, so what could we do?
Especially because Trick isn't helping.
Right, and you know, Kensi calls him out. It's a great scene, and it makes him rush off and go learn where his memories were.
And he says to them, he says that I don't have time to explain myself to a human and a lowlife.
Yeah, which is just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? That's more Blood King than it is, you know, Trick.
Yeah.
And we're all pissed at him. Kensi and Tamsin are looking through his stuff, and they find all these blank books. And Kensi remembers, you know, that he always keeps blood on hand to sign into this book, and that it would change fate, and that he did it once before to help Bo.
Which is interesting because when he's with Ming, she says to him, like, you created all of this, and you still can't defy fate. Like, you're gonna end up back where you started.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she finds the books.
She finds the books and decides, you know what? If Trick won't help her, we will. We're going to sign something into this book with Trick's blood. And I'm just shouting at the TV, stop!
Yeah.
Are you serious? The last time it released a Garuda, okay? We don't want another Garuda, okay? We want life to be happy and good and nice.
They are the two girls from any horror film that are like, this is a haunted house. It's dark. It's a full moon. The rumor is that there's a murder on the loose. Some guy escaped from the mental institution.
Let's go inside. Yeah, exactly.
That's who they are.
And we're just like, why? And then they find this Chinese folding box.
It's Japanese
folding box, sorry.
It was a Tom Tobacco.
Yes, which somehow features magical darts that shoot out and somehow fit inside this tiny box.
If you open the box incorrectly, then there are booby traps.
There are traps.
Obviously.
Right.
So Trick.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky to rock around. We're not doing that.
Okay.
So finally they get it open, and there's little vials of blood inside. And instead of putting a quill in the blood, Kensi just starts pooling it on the page like some damn finger painter, like a kindergartner.
Yep.
And then she just writes Bo, and then it's Bo, and then this big black spot, this big red spot. And I'm just like, it's not a clear thing in the blood, and I'm worried that the book or the blood is somehow going to think that means Bo should end in a pool of blood or something like that.
Yeah.
It's bad news.
It was like she was writing a name, like she needed a question mark at the end, like Bo, so that it would like flip to that page. I assume this is what she thought. Like, oh, I write the name and it'll tell me what it said about him. No, that's not how it works. You write what you want to happen.
Right. I don't know. But Tamsin touches the book, and then all of a sudden it flips to another page, and it's just Tamsin. And she remembers everything, and she tells Kensi, we can't trust Trick.
Yeah.
We can't trust him. Which, honestly, the idea that Trick might be a danger to himself and others, that these new memories might change him in some way and make him more like his former self, is very intriguing to me from a story perspective. To have who was honestly our secret weapon on the good guy's side, be a bad guy. We still have what's going on between him and the Unamens, and they still want him to join them. That all might come into like a very cool climax this season.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting that, you know, it might be that he isn't good. He wasn't good before. We know that he was corrupt at some point. And when he's with Ming in this episode, she asks him who he loves the most, and he says, me.
Yeah.
It's scary to think that Trick is not good. Maybe he isn't good. Maybe he was supposed to be dark.
Yeah, dark Trick.
Ooh,
I'm into that.
That'd be so interesting.
I know. Okay, I think it's time for predictions.
It has to be.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yael Tygiel. Who's dying this season?
All right, so my theories are either Trick or Tamsin.
Okay, I think these are both very valid guesses.
Yeah. Trick, I think, because he we've just revealed all these things. He was so corrupt. He's hopefully going to have to sacrifice himself, if that's how it is, to solve the problems. And that makes me sad because Trick was one of my favorite characters through the whole season.
Absolutely.
Through the whole series.
Yeah.
But if it's Tamsin, I could totally see it. She's on her last life. She was the last one in, so first one out. And I'd be sad because I like new Tamsin. I like this season Tam.
You like playful Tamsin.
Yeah. But it's not sad enough that I'd be okay with losing her.
Okay. I'm going to tack something on to your Trick prediction. I don't know that he dies, but if he gives his vessel to the Unamens and becomes one with them, wouldn't that send his soul to hell?
Maybe.
So if he sacrifices himself to the Unamens to allow Bo to be free, or to, in exchange for, killing Rayner or something, and Bo has to go back to Hades to save his soul before it's too late. That sounds that sounds Lost Girly to me.
Yeah.
That sounds like something they would do. Tamsin, you're absolutely right. She's on her last life, and last one in, first one out. She'd be a very good call. I'm gonna say that the show is gonna be crueler to us, and I'm gonna call it Hail. He and Kensi get together just in time to have them ripped apart. I know we've had Kensi heartbroken on the show before, and none of us want that.
Happiness.
But I feel like that would be the biggest gut punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, just to be complicated,
Please.
because when we meet Rayner in the end and Bo brings him back, she says he's not my enemy. He's definitely not my father.
He's my
destiny. She's in love with him. He can die.
Okay. Oh, but that's cheap. That's lame and cheap and all. No.
Prediction.
Boo. Okay,
It
fine.
happens.
Any other predictions?
Any other predictions? I think we're going to get our answers
Yeah.
by the end of the season. That's my prediction.
Okay, I love that prediction. Yael Tygiel, where can the people find you?
The people can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. Check it out for lots of awesome Lost Girl interviews. And on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL.
Okay, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV all over the place. Find me on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Justified, Cougar Town, Helix, Banshee. I have, what else? I got Resurrection. A bunch of stuff coming up in April. Playing House, Mad Men, Orphan Black. Lots of stuff coming up this spring, you guys, and big announcements on the way. Please stay tuned. Oh, and watch Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen, premiering Tuesday, March 18th at 10/9 Central. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.